उनके राय के बिना बात नहीं कर सकते। आप कोई जो बोलना है बंधक मीन्स बाउंडेड लेबर, सर बाउंडेड लेबर वो उधर बने तो ये लोग तो कभी
No. This bonded labor will not go on record. This is not correct. You cannot call. You cannot call the honorable members as bonded labor.
No.
That I will not agree. I will not. Please,
Sir,
I will not agree.
There is an act. So Bonded Labor Act.
Yeah, that
so
is there.
In BJP.
That is there. But you cannot call the honorable members as bonded laborers. That is not correct.
Not, sir. I am not calling.
Please.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Please.
हमारे को एक तो आप ये लोग जो अपोजिशन पार्टी के नेता को बोलने नहीं दे रहे हैं और दूसरी चीज हम
1 minute I will call honorable minister of parliamentary affairs.
I will complete, sir.
Okay, you complete 1 minute.
I will complete. अरे रिजू जी आप बैठिए, हम कंप्लीट कर दे भाई, उसके बाद आप बोलिए। आपको तो टाइम बहुत मिलता है। सर मेरा कहना इतना ही है कि यू कांट क्रिटिसाइज अस। आवर पार्टी में क्या चला, हमारे पार्टी क्या आपके जैसा ये अपना लिंचिंग करती है, क्या आपके जैसा किसी को गालियां देती है, आपके जैसा कोई रेप करता है उसको समर्थन करता है, आपके जैसा अत्याचार करता है।
Anything unparliamentary will not go on records, please.
No unparliamentary.
Will not go on record. Anything wrong against the norms, rules will not go on record. Sir, I am not saying anything. I am just saying if anything is wrong against the rules, norms of the parliament, then it will not be there. Will not go there. Please take your seat.
Sir,
you complete. I can ask the reply from.
My only question
is you are disturbing the matters raised with permission. You are disturbing the individual matters rights.
I am not disturbing, sir. I am just pleading before you that how these people are crushing the democracy and how these people are not allowing the opposition leader. If that is the fate, elected members, what about the nominated members? Persons who got indirectly elected and nominated. So, इनकी हालत क्या होगी? तो चाइना के बारे में बोलना, you don't agree.
Let me make my. I will quote the earlier proceedings. I will quote the earlier proceedings. 1 minute. You please take your seat. Debates in Lok Sabha, members should not make any critical reference about the debates in Lok Sabha. The Prime Minister, Sriman Jawaharlal Nehru ji, has suggested that it should not be made a practice in the council to refer to the debates in Lok Sabha, and that even though it might be justified technically, it was a bad practice. Lok Sabha discussing the council and the council discussing the Lok Sabha, leading to trouble between the two houses. I would ask you not to refer to the house. The reference that you have made to the other house will be expunged from the proceedings. This is the ruling of the chairman of that time.
Yes. No. Sir, I agree.
Why you are getting, Jairamji, why you are getting so agitated? You are getting so much of time than the treasury benches. I am giving you a lot of time, but even then you are getting agitated. I don't understand. If you want to put anything in your speech, you put. You ask your leader of the opposition to sit and you can speak.
Sir.
But you don't want. Then letting him speak. Why you are interfering?
Sir, देखिए हम आपको टारगेट करके नहीं बोल रहे हैं, हमारे टारगेट उधर है और ये लोग लोकतंत्र को कुचलने का काम कर रहे हैं, इसलिए हम बात कर रहे हैं।
So, और save democracy, opposition should put their opinion, their thoughts, everything in the house. At the same time, treasury benches is also having their own right to defy your thinking. They have a right to answer to your questions. They have a right to answer to your opinions. They have every right to express their own opinions also.
Nehru ji most democratic man. Not these people. These people are only criticizing Nehru ji. Indira Gandhi, they are misusing their power. They are misusing their authority.
In this house that has not happened. Even the president's address, Nehru ji has been praised. You might have noticed it. Now I ask.
No.
Now I ask Honorable Minister.
We don't want to listen of
Parliamentary Affairs. Yes.
आपको लीडर ऑफ द अपोजिशन को इज्जत देकर के चेयरमैन एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी आपको बुलाने दिया है। मैंने पहले भी कहा ये सदन आपको और हमारा मर्जी से नहीं चलेगा, नियम से चलेगा। और ये वही तो बोल रहा हूं, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग। ही हैज टेकन द टाइम अगेन एंड अगेन। दिस हाउस बिलोंग्स टू एवरीवन। यू कांट टेक ऑल द स्पेस ऑल द टाइम। सर, नंबर वन, खड़गे जी ने मिसलीड किया इस सदन में। खुद बोलते हैं कि ये लीडर ऑफ द एल्डर्स माना जाता है। यू मिसलेड द हाउस। आपने बोला कि वहां लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन लोकसभा को बोलने नहीं दिया, ये आपने मिसलीड किया। उसको 40 मिनट तक 40 मिनट तक उसको स्पीकर ने टाइम दिया। वो रूल से बाहर बार बोल रहे हैं। स्पीकर का रूलिंग के बाद भी नहीं मानते हुए वो फिर रूल ब्रेक कर रहे हैं। और आप यहाँ मिसलीड करते हैं कि राहुल गांधी को बोलने नहीं दिया। आप ये मिसलीड। नंबर वन,
मिनिस्टर साहब, प्लीज वाइंड अप, प्लीज वाइंड अप।
Number two, leader of opposition said that if Lok Sabha doesn't function, how can Rajya Sabha function? He also said that both the houses run together, which is absolutely wrong. If leader of opposition can show me one rule, that if Lok Sabha gets adjourned, Rajya Sabha should be automatically adjourned. Show me the rule. These two houses may constitute together for the concept of parliament, but the functioning of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are different. They are guided by different rules, and there's no precedent that if one house gets adjourned, the other house should also get adjourned. There's no such tradition, no such rule. Out of blue, suddenly today, why Congress party has taken up this issue of what is going on in Lok Sabha? We have allowed you to speak. After speaking all your time, you want to disturb Honorable Prime Minister. What tactics is this? We condemn these tactics of leader of opposition.
Now, Honorable Finance Minister, please.
Sir.
Hey, I am coming. I will give you everybody time. Can I give time to everyone together? Then please take your seat.
Sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir. I respect the leader of the opposition, but I heard him say something that you people lynch. I'm sorry. I want that word removed. Honorable opposition leader is not right in commenting like this. One. And second, if he's talking on lynching, let me remind him that in Rajasthan, when Congress party was in ruling, based on some comment which one of our BJP lady spokesperson said, there was a lynching of a tailor and no action was taken. Nupur Sharma's comments on the TV, you lynched in your government. Lynching happened in Rajasthan. Even more, sir, one more. In Kerala, during Congress rule, the hands of a teacher, Father Joseph, was chopped off. What action did Congress party take in Kerala? Father Joseph, both the hands were chopped off. And that was Congress government. In Rajasthan, based on a comment made by Nupur Sharma, our spokesperson on the television, their government into a dam when somebody went and chopped off, lynched the tailor. Is he talking about lynching? Is leader of the opposition talking about lynching? Please correct.
Please
Rajasthan and Kerala first.
Please wind up. Now. I'll take your seat. I am calling you. Please. I have to come one by one only. Already you have taken the 30 minutes of the individual members. There is no matters raised with permission is taking place. You please take. You please take. You please take your seat. You please take your seat. Let Bitaji. Unless you are taking your seat, I am not going to ask anybody to speak. What is this? 10 people can speak together. You please. I have already given you sufficient time for our honorable leader of opposition. Now, Tiruchi Shivaji.
Sir, just two things, sir. One is Rule 238(3).
1 minute.
First issue, sir, I have a second one. First is use offensive expression about the conduct or proceedings of the houses or any state legislature. Sir, the leader of opposition, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, has not mentioned any defaming of the other house, sir. Number one. Number two, your predecessor, earlier when there was an issue was discussed which was under sub judice. We quoted Rule 238. He said, anything under the sky can be discussed on the floor of the Council of States. That ruling still stays, sir. Unless it is overruled, that rule still says, so we can discuss anything, sir. Thank you.
No, what he said, I have given my ruling already. What Jawaharlal Nehru ji has said, that has been quoted by me, and again you are raising the same point. You please 1 minute, I am coming to you. Please, yes.
The House shouldn't be responses between that side and this side. We are also part of this House, sir.
Yes.
So please look at us also sometime.
No, you are getting now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I cannot allow everybody to talk.
Thank you very much.
For that I am sitting
sir,
here.
Thank you very much for your graciousness, your benevolence, sir. Sir, as Kharge said, Parliament comprises of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and Honorable President. That's very important. These three institutions are part of this Parliament. Sir,
but every house has its own duty to do now. Is it not?
Sir, let me just say, sir.
Continue.
Though the President was kept away when it was inaugurated and when it was foundation note. Anyway, my point is simple, sir. Sir, for a parliamentary democracy, institution of the opposition leader is very important. Just as we respect the institution of Prime Minister, please do respect the institution of the opposition leader.
So,
my submission to you only, sir. Sir, you don't need to give a ruling. You just request them to allow the LOP of Lok Sabha to speak there.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah.
First, you have to ask them to sit in their seat when LOP is speaking. You do that. When a leader of the opposition is speaking, all his members were around him. What is this?
Yeah.
You are not. You have to see that side also. I am asking them to sit. They are sitting. When I am asking your people to go to their seat, they are not going. What I have to do? You tell me. See, each house is independent in its functioning. That is the ruling. That is the thing that has been followed for many decades. That will be followed. Now I call Sriman Baburam Nisadji. एक मिनट प्लीज।
कहा तो हम सिर्फ ये कहना चाहते हैं कि हमारी तरफ से पूरा सम्मान किया जाता है। सर, नेता सदन ने यदि अबोध शब्द का प्रयोग किया है तो बोध का अर्थ होता है ज्ञान। इसमें अप्रत्यय लगाकर जो ज्ञान ना हो उसके लिए अबोध होता है। कोई सम्मान नहीं, किसी का असम्मान नहीं है। सर, ज्ञान की कोई सीमा नहीं होती है, ज्ञान की कोई उम्र नहीं होती। और अबोध होने का प्रमाण यह जिसे यह ना पता हो कि फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस के ऊपर सब्सटेंशियल एविडेंस मीडिया रिपोर्ट नहीं होती है, वो अबोध है। सर, जिसे ये न पता हो कि सेना अध्यक्ष और प्रधानमंत्री रक्षा मंत्री के बीच का कम्युनिकेशन ऑफिशियल सीक्रेट एक्ट में आता है, वो पब्लिक डोमेन में नहीं हो सकता, वो अबोध है। और सर, मैं ये भी कहना चाहता हूं, यदि किताब की बात है, सर मैं कोट करता हूं और इसको सब्सटेंशिएट कर सकता हूं। 19 नवंबर 1962 जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने अमेरिकी राष्ट्रपति जॉन एफ कैनेडी को लिखा कि हमें V2 बॉम्बर चाहिए, हमें स्क्वाड्रन चाहिए जिसका नेतृत्व आप करें। और सुनिए, उस समय अमेरिका में भारत के राजदूत BK नेहरू, जो नेहरू जी के नतीजे थे। उन्होंने अपनी किताब गुड गाइज सेकंड में सर उन्होंने लिखा कि जब मैं वो पत्र देने जा रहा था प्रेसिडेंट के एडवाइजर को, तो मुझे इतनी शर्म महसूस हो रही थी जब अपनी एयरफोर्स की कमांड उनको दे रहे, मैं रोया था। बीके नेहरू की किताब गुड गाइज फिनिश सेकंड। तो सर ज्ञान और अज्ञान दोनों को समझ में रखकर तब देश के बारे में विचार करना चाहिए।
Now everybody take their seat, please. Everybody take their seat, please, please, please. Let us do our regular. So you want to say something? Then you ask your people to go to the air. Why every time they are coming to behind you? So we are here to protect you. Are they going to protect you?
And they agree immediately. You see how disciplined people are.
How discipline? Every time they are coming to the front is not discipline.
Sir,
don't create new discipline. Let them be in their seat.
सर मेरा एक ही निवेदन आपसे है कि ये बार बार नेहरू जी को गालियां देना, इंदिरा जी को गालियां देना, अपोजिशन लीडर के लिए आपने जो शब्द उपयोग करे वो खंडनीय है। और वो ये चाहते हैं कि भाई ये नरवणे की किताब है, इसमें क्या है मुझे मालूम नहीं, मैं पढ़ के बताता हूँ। अमेरिका को बेचने वाले, देश को दिल्ली रखने वाले प्रोटेस्ट करते हैं।
माइक शुड बी गिवन टू द ऑनरेबल लीडर ऑफ द हाउस।
सभापति जी, आपने देख लिया प्रत्यक्ष को प्रमाण की क्या आवश्यकता है, प्रत्यक्ष को प्रमाण की क्या आवश्यकता है। प्रजातंत्र के बारे में बोलने वाले लोग किस तरीके से प्रजातंत्र का मजाक करते हैं और गला घोटते हैं वो हमको सामने दिख रहा है, ये प्रत्यक्ष रूप में दिख रहा है। आपने सभापति जी लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन को एक बार नहीं 3 बार मौका दिया पूरी, और उन्होंने अपनी पूरी बात कही है, पूरी की पूरी बात कही है, लेकिन उनका एजेंडा कुछ और है। और उनका एजेंडा यह है कि जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में देश तीव्र गति से आगे बढ़ रहा है उसमें कैसे विघ्न डाला जाए, कैसे बाधा डाली जाए, यह कांग्रेस पार्टी का एजेंडा हो गया है। और उनको जिस तरीके से भारत की जनता का आशीर्वाद प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को बारंबार मिल रहा है वह इनसे सहा नहीं जा रहा है। ये बौखलाहट में आ गए हैं। दे हैव बिकम डेस्परेट एंड दे हैव गॉट नथिंग टू डू विद द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री। दे आर सेल्फ सीकर्स और इनको अपनी पार्टी और अपना हित और अपने हित में भी एक परिवार का हित वही दिखता है जिसके लिए काम कर रहे हैं। लोकसभा में क्या लोकसभा के स्पीकर को वहां की रूलिंग देने का पूरा अधिकार नहीं है? उन्होंने पूरा अधिकार का उपयोग किया है कि नहीं किया है? वहां के लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन को बोलने का पूरा मौका दिया गया। अब वो अगर संसदीय प्रणाली में ना बोलते हो जिसके कारण उनको रोका जाता हो तो यह कौन सी डेमोक्रेसी है कि जो नियम आप ही तय करोगे उसी के तहत चलेगा? अभी यहां पर भी आपने उनको रोका और वो वॉकआउट कर गए। यह तरीका नहीं होता है प्रजातंत्र चलने का। और आपके माध्यम से मैं देश को फिर से यह बताना चाहता हूं कि मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में चलने वाली सरकार हर विषय पर चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है और हर तरीके से चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है। जिन जिन विषयों को ऑपोजिशन लेकर के आई है उसका दोनों सदनों में चर्चा हुई है और यही स्पिरिट के साथ मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में यह सरकार आगे चलेगी। आज भी हम तैयार थे, हमने हर बात के लिए उनका जवाब दिया, उनको बताया, लेकिन जिन्होंने सीखना ही नहीं है, जिन्होंने समझना ही नहीं है, जिनका उद्देश्य प्रजातंत्र चले, हाउस चले, डेमोक्रेसी चले, यह नहीं है बल्कि एक परिवार की चले, तो उनको बता देना चाहते हैं ये 140 करोड़ का देश मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में आगे बढ़ रहा है, ये परिवार के बंधक नहीं बनेगा। इस बात को हमको ध्यान में रखना चाहिए।
थैंक यू। नाउ श्रीमान बाबूराम निषाद जी।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय सभापति जी। मैं आज इस सदन का राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा से जुड़े एक अत्यंत विषय की ओर आकर्षित कराना चाहता हूं। विशेषकर हमारी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमाओं की सुरक्षा में आ रही लॉजिस्टिक चुनौतियां और हालिया न्यायिक हस्तक्षेपों तथा प्रशासनिक विलंब के संबंध में महोदय, हाल ही में कलकत्ता उच्च न्यायालय ने एक ऐतिहासिक निर्णय देते हुए पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार को निर्देश दिया है कि 9 सीमावर्ती जिलों में स्थित भूमि को 31 मार्च 2026 तक सीमा सुरक्षा बल बीएसएफ को सौंपें। ये अत्यंत चिंताजनक है कि यह भूमि हस्तांतरण वर्ष 2016 से लंबित है, जबकि केंद्र सरकार द्वारा इसके लिए संपूर्ण भुगतान पहले ही स्वीकृत जारी कर चुका है। महोदय, 4096 किलोमीटर लंबी भारत बांग्लादेश सीमा एक बड़ा हिस्सा आज भी बिना बाढ़ के है। ये खुले हिस्से लंबे समय से राष्ट्र विरोधी गतिविधियों के लिए मार्ग बने हुए हैं, जैसे अवैध घुसपैठ, मवेशी तस्करी, मादक पदार्थों की तस्करी तथा जाली मुद्रा नोटों का प्रसार। अप्रैल 2025 में दक्षिण बंगाल फ्रंटियर में बीएसएफ कर्मियों ने मालदा के पास खुले सीमा क्षेत्र का लाभ उठाने वाले तस्करों से एक ही रात में 19 से अधिक मवेशियों को छुड़ाया। विडंबना है यह महोदय की राष्ट्र की सीमाओं की सुरक्षा जैसा संप्रभु दायित्व आज राज्य स्तर पर प्रशासनिक इच्छा शक्ति के अभाव के कारण बाधित हो रहा है। पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार उस पर निर्णय नहीं ले पाई है, जिससे लंबे कानूनी संघर्षों पर निर्भरता बढ़ी है। वर्तमान व्यवस्था जिसमें सीमा और संरचना के लिए राज्य सरकारों से अनापत्ति प्रमाण पत्र एनओसी और जटिल भूमि हस्तांतरण प्रक्रियाएं आवश्यक हैं, एक गंभीर रणनीतिक कमजोरी उत्पन्न कर रही है। राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा को ना तो नौकरशाही जटिलताओं का बंधक बनाया जा सकता है, ना ही राजनीतिक उदासीनता का। अतः महोदय जी, मैं सरकार से निम्नलिखित उपायों पर विचार करने का आग्रह करता हूं। केंद्रीय सीमा कॉरिडोर की स्थापना, एक ऐसा कानूनी ढांचा बनाया जाए जिसके अंतर्गत अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमाओं से सटे 1-2 किलोमीटर चौड़े क्षेत्र को गृह मंत्रालय के प्रत्यक्ष प्रशासनिक एवं कानूनी नियंत्रण में लाया जा सके। दूसरा, विधायी विचार, सरकार को सीमा संबंधी कार्यों को शीघ्रता से पूरा करने हेतु एक व्यापक कानून लाना चाहिए, ताकि बाढ़बंदी रणनीति
गिरिराजन जी, श्रीमती माया नरोलिया जी।
धन्यवाद माननीय सभापति महोदय जी। मैं इस सदन के माध्यम से माननीय सड़क परिवहन एवं राजमार्ग मंत्रालय का ध्यान मध्य प्रदेश में आवारा पशुओं के कारण बढ़ती सड़क दुर्घटनाओं की एक अत्यंत गंभीर एवं चिंताजनक समस्या की ओर आकृष्ट करना चाहती हूं। महोदय जी, पिछले 2 वर्षों अर्थात 2024-25 तक राज्य में आवारा पशुओं से संबंधित 237 सड़क दुर्घटनाएं पुलिस अभिलेखों में दर्ज।
All right, viewers, those are proceedings from the Parliament. Now, the budget session is continuing. It continues to be marred by disruptions, however, with both houses seeing sharp confrontations between the government and the opposition. Today, in the Rajya Sabha, war of words also broke out between leader of opposition Mallikarjun Kharge and BJP President JP Nadda. Kharge alleged that Rahul Gandhi was not allowed to speak in the Lok Sabha on matters of national interest. Hitting back, JP Nadda objected strongly, saying proceedings of the Lok Sabha cannot be raised or discussed in the Rajya Sabha, and urged the opposition to follow parliamentary rules. Adding to this, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju appealed to all MPs to maintain decorum and abide by House traditions, saying members were waiting to hear the Prime Minister's address amid continued disruptions. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also objected to Mallikarjun Kharge's lynching remark and cited the beheading of a tailor in Udaipur in 2022 during Congress's rule. In fact, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also slammed Congress over lynchings in Congress-led Kerala and Rajasthan in the past. Let's once again listen in to her statement. All right, joining me in this discussion is my colleague Sanjay Sharma. We'll try to play out that bite of Nirmala Sitharaman viewers for you once again. But for now, let's go across to our colleague. Sanjay, once again, heated discussions in Parliament and Nirmala Sitharaman pulling up the Congress over the lynching comment made by Kharge. Do talk to us about more details that you have noted.
देखिए राज्यसभा में जब हंगामा शुरू हुआ है राज्यसभा में जो हंगामा हुआ है वो हुआ है जेपी नड्डा के बयान पर जब उन्होंने अबोध बालक शब्द का उपयोग किया। जो इस पे आपत्ति लेते हुए नेता प्रतिपक्ष मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे ने कहा कि अबोध बालक जो शब्द है एक तरह से लिंचिंग की तरह शब्द का उपयोग किया जा रहा है और उनके नेता की लिंचिंग की जा रही है। इस पर आपत्ति लेते हुए केंद्रीय वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण ने जवाब दिया कि लिंचिंग कांग्रेस के राज में होती थी, कांग्रेस के समय में होती थी। उन्होंने उदाहरण दी किस तरीके से केरल में लोगों के कार्यकर्ताओं के वर्कर्स के हाथ पैर काट दिए जाते थे, राजनीतिक दलों के कार्यकर्ताओं के। साथ ही साथ नुपुर शर्मा का भी उन्होंने जिक्र किया कि लिंचिंग क्या होती है, कांग्रेस को दूसरों को नहीं बताना है क्योंकि कांग्रेस के राज में सबसे ज्यादा लिंचिंग होती थी।
जी संजय, बने रहे हमारे साथ। व्यूअर्स, वी आर आल्सो नाउ जॉइंड इन फैक्ट बाय बीनू मेनन. ही इज अ बीजेपी लीडर. Joins us on the phone line. Thanks very much, Beenu, for joining us in this discussion. Firstly, Nirmala Sitharaman has, of course, clearly pulled up the Congress and its leader Mallikarjun Kharge over the use of lynching word. She's also cited the Udaipur beheading of the tailor in 2022. What really is the party trying to say to the Congress when Rahul Gandhi says that he's really never allowed to speak?
See, as Nirmala Sitharaman ji very well said, that lynching word and allegations of lynching on other parties or other people, it's not at all which can be taken from Congress. Everyone remembers what happened in 1984, the Sikh riots, how the Sikhs were lynched, massacred. And as per Rahul Gandhi ji is concerned, has he ever spoke since? Whether it is in parliament, whether it is outside, whether in the country, whether outside in foreign land. So altogether, if Congress is to be taken, Congress is not taken seriously by the country, by the people itself. Rahul Gandhi especially, no, I don't think anyone in the country takes seriously what Rahul Gandhi says. And lynching, you see what happened in Kerala. Kerala, in their reign, people were killed. The Rajya Sabha MP, his legs were cut off. These things these things were very common during Congress, and they are putting allegations on BJP. It is like mockery.
All right. How do you see the fact that Prime Minister Modi's address yesterday had to be cancelled, because there are some voices within the BJP also that they were saying that it's a good decision that Prime Minister's address yesterday was indeed cancelled amid the ruckus? All right, viewers, we've lost that connection with Beenu Menon, but once again what we saw was a fiery House session. This time Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman hitting back at Mallikarjun Kharge's lynching comment. Nirmala Sitharaman, of course, has pulled up leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, for using the lynching word for the Congress, and she's cited the 2022 Udaipur lynching of the tailor in Rajasthan to remind the Congress the perils of using such a word. Meanwhile, BJP MP Kangra Ranaut had also said that it was a good decision to cancel Prime Minister's motion of thanks to President's address yesterday. My colleague Sanjay also continues to stay with us. Sanjay, Prime Minister will now speak today. Do we know about some of the contents on which he is going to be shedding light on during his address?
देखिए, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी आज राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण पे प्रेसिडेंशियल एड्रेस पर जो चर्चा हुई राज्यसभा में उसका जवाब देंगे। लोकसभा में कल प्रधानमंत्री का जवाब होना था, लेकिन जिस तरीके से कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेताओं ने, विपक्षी दलों ने रणनीति अपनाई, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का रास्ता रुकने का काम किया, उस वजह से प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का कल जवाब लोकसभा में नहीं हो पाया। लेकिन राज्यसभा में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी, क्योंकि राज्यसभा में अभी भी शांति बनी हुई है और वहां पर राज्यसभा फंक्शन कर रही है, तो राज्यसभा में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का जवाब आज हो सकता है। 3 बजे के बाद ये जवाब कभी भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का हो सकता है। ऐसे मुख्य मुद्दे वही होते हैं जो प्रेसिडेंशियल स्पीच में जो प्रेसिडेंट के द्वारा बोले जाते हैं, सरकार के किए गए कामों का ब्यौरा होता है इसमें। और साथ ही साथ प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जब बोलेंगे तब तो सारे इशू एड्रेस करेंगे, चाहे उसका यूएस डील की बात हो, चाहे राहुल गांधी के आरोप हो, चाहे जिस तरह से उनको ये भी कहा गया कॉम्प्रोमाइज पीएम की बात जो कही गई है, तो ये जितने भी मुद्दे जो उनके खिलाफ आए हैं उनको भी प्रधानमंत्री एड्रेस करेंगे।
जी संजय, ये भी बताइए, आज जो निर्मला सीतारमण का बयान आया है उस वक्त आया है जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने ये बोल दिया है कि वो चाहते हैं कि पार्लियामेंट में प्रोसीडिंग्स एक काम तरीके से हो, प्रोडक्टिव सेशंस हो पार्लियामेंट के, उसके बाद भी ऑपोजिशन बार बार इस काइंड के स्टेटमेंट्स बोलते हैं, हाउस प्रोसीडिंग्स डिसरप्ट होते हैं। तो इस सब के बारे में और क्या कुछ जानकारी मिल रही है आपको? कुछ एमपीज, अगर कोई बीजेपी लीडर्स हैं तो उनका क्या कहना है?
देखिए, लगातार टकराव बना हुआ है संसद के भीतर। हमने देखा लोकसभा में टकराव की स्थिति बनी हुई है। राहुल गांधी किसी की सुनने को तैयार नहीं है, किसी की बात समझने को तैयार नहीं है, ना रूल्स के साथ चलने को तैयार है। जब भी पार्लियामेंट की कोई भी प्रोसीजर होती है तो पार्लियामेंट प्रोसीजर पूरी तरह से रूल्स पर डिपेंड करता है, रूल्स के पर ही काम होता है। और हमेशा जब भी प्रेसिडेंशियल स्पीच होती है तो राष्ट्रपति के अभिभाषण पे कभी भी राजनीति नहीं होती है। जो प्रेसिडेंशियल स्पीच होती है तो आप उसका सपोर्ट करते हैं या उसका अपोज करते हैं। लेकिन यहाँ पर हमने देखा किस तरह से एलओपी है राहुल गांधी, वो जब बोलने खड़े होते उन्होंने एक नए मुद्दा खड़ा कर दिया। अगर उनको
संजय, I request you to stay on. We're now joined in by Saral Patel, Congress spokesperson. Saral, thanks very much for joining us. Firstly, how do you respond to Nirmala Sitharaman's take on Mallikarjun Kharge over the lynching comment by your leader?
I think it is a mindless comment by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji, because as far as I can remember in the nation's history, I had not heard this word mob lynching before 2014. The word itself has come in the popular this thing from 2014 onwards. The way the Bharatiya Janata Party has given the silent authority to their workers and to their umbrella organizations to kind of spread hate in the society, and this kind of rising hate crimes, if you see, I was just reading about it yesterday, that in Odisha had never had a case of mob lynching, but in last 5 months, there have been 6 cases of mob lynching in the Odisha, and the only thing that has changed in Odisha is the government of the BJP. So the mob lynching and the kind of hate crimes, these are the direct result of the BJP's hate politics that they have been spreading in this country.
Saral, we hear you, the viewers hear you. Thanks very much for joining us here on Newsx. And with that, viewers, we're going to move into a very quick break, but stay tuned to Newsx for all national news and dates.
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें ITV और इंडिया न्यूज़ का मीडिया स्कूल। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का कोर्स आपको मौका देता है देश के दिग्गज एंकर्स के साथ काम करने का। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल में आप बेहद नजदीकी से देख पाएंगे किस तरह से ITV नेटवर्क के दिग्गज पत्रकारों की टीम दिन रात खबरों पर काम करती है। इस कोर्स के दौरान आप सीखेंगे एंकरिंग की एक एक बारीकी उन एंकर्स के साथ जो देश को रखते हैं हर खबर से बाखबर। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का ये कोर्स आपके एंकरिंग स्किल्स को करेगा इतना सशक्त, मजबूत, जिससे आप बनेंगे पत्रकारिता की दुनिया का वो चमकता चेहरा जो दुनिया देखेगी और पसंद करेगी।
This week on the roundtable, we are taking a look at the danger our country faces from the number of Chinese imports that have been literally dumped onto our country. Our economy is at great risk. What can the budget do about it?
The budget is like an iron dome. It protects our factories, it protects Indian capacities, and we need to defend them from the onslaught that the Chinese economy is doing on India. And it has reached huge proportions, so there is a need for an urgent step to be taken by the union budget.
What I feel is not single measure, there can be multiple measures, but the best way to stop Chinese imports is by raising tariffs. History has shown it. We must raise tariffs as per the WTO agreements, and we have the limit of 50.4% average weighted tariff, whereas we are imposing hardly 6%. So there is a huge gap between what is the bound rate and what is the actual effective rate.
I think we should strengthen our industrial policy and see to it that our PLI scheme also is interweaved with quality in a very strengthened manner, so that we are back on the path of having the QCOs into the country to a great extent of sectors and pushing them very hard.
Thank you. This week on the roundtable, we are taking a look at the danger our country faces from the number of Chinese imports that have been literally dumped onto our country. Our economy is at great risk. What can the budget do about it?
The budget is like an iron dome. It protects our factories, it protects Indian capacities, and we need to defend them from the onslaught that the Chinese economy is doing on India. And it has reached huge proportions, so there is a need for an urgent step to be taken by the union budget.
What I feel is not single measure, there can be multiple measures, but the best way to stop Chinese imports is by raising tariffs. History has shown it. We must raise tariffs as per the WTO agreements, and we have the limit of 50.4% average weighted tariff, whereas we are imposing hardly 6%. So there is a huge gap between what is the bound rate and what is the actual effective rate.
I think we should strengthen our industrial policy and see to it that our PLI scheme also is interweaved with quality in a very strengthened manner, so that we are back on the path of having the QCOs into the country to a great extent of sectors and pushing them very hard.
Thank you.
A very good afternoon, viewers. I'm Kriti Mehta and you're watching Newsx. Let's start with the top focus story at this hour. Now, details are coming out from the Parliament session. Prime Minister Modi is set to speak at the Rajya Sabha today at 5 p.m. Remember, a major showdown had happened at the Rajya Sabha as a leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge slammed the BJP over obstruction of Rahul Gandhi's speech at the Lok Sabha, following which senior BJP leaders also hit back. Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister, was among the leaders of the BJP who took a sharp swipe at Mallikarjun Kharge. Sitharaman reminded Kharge of the 2022 Udaipur lynching incident where a tailor was beheaded. Sitharaman was, of course, quick to hit back at Mallikarjun's lynching comment amid uproar in Rajya Sabha. And once again, what we saw was a standoff between the government and the opposition that continues to hinder the proceedings of the House. In fact, let's also go across to my colleague from the newsroom, Rumi Mishra, who's joining us. Rumi, what more details are you picking up from the House session and the war of words between the BJP and the Congress? All right, we've lost that connection with my colleague, but I'll take that question with my colleague Manohar Kesari, who's joining us. Manohar, thanks for joining us. Do take us through the war of words between Sitharaman and Kharge that we saw in the House today, another day where the confrontation between the BJP and the opposition created a huge uproar in Parliament.
देखिए बिल्कुल आज अगर हम बात करें तो राज्यसभा में भी रही और सुबह से लोकसभा जब स्टार्ट ही हुआ था तो उस दौरान जो है तो फिर से कांग्रेस की ओर से रकस और अपोजिशन की ओर से हंगामा किया गया, उसके बाद स्थगित कर दिया गया। अब कुछ देर में लोकसभा स्टार्ट होगी। वहीं अगर हम राज्यसभा की बात करें तो राज्यसभा में आज प्रधानमंत्री राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण से शाम में 5 बजे बोल सकते हैं, क्योंकि जिस तरह से लोकसभा में उन्हें बोलने नहीं दिया गया, बीजेपी की ओर से लगातार कहा जा रहा है कि कल कुछ महिला सांसद पीएम के चेयर के पास चले गई थी और उसको चारों ओर से घेर लिया था, और जो इस तरह से आरोप और प्रत्यारोप का दौर जारी है और लगातार जो है सो कांग्रेस की ओर से भी अटैक किया जा रहा है। ये कहा जा रहा है कि जब तक एलओपी को नहीं बोलने दिया जाएगा तब तक हम पीएम को बोलने नहीं देंगे। वहीं अगर आज राज्यसभा में पीएम बोलने जा रहे हैं तो अब देखना होगा कि अपोजिशन की ओर से क्या रुख रहता है, किस तरह से, क्या वो लोकसभा की तरह ही राज्यसभा में हंगामा करते हैं या पीएम को बोलने देते हैं। जी
5 बजे प्रधानमंत्री का एड्रेस होगा, क्या कुछ विषय हैं जिनके बारे में प्रधानमंत्री चर्चा कर सकते हैं?
देखिए बिल्कुल लोकसभा के तरह राज्यसभा में 2 दिन से चर्चा हो रही थी। आज तीसरा दिन है राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण को लेकर के, और ऐसे में कल अपोजिशन लीडर मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे ने भी राज्यसभा में कहा था, और आज प्रधानमंत्री करीब 5 बजे जो है तो बोल सकते हैं राज्यसभा में, क्योंकि कल हमने देखा कि लोकसभा में उन्हें बोलने नहीं दिया गया। 5 बजे का शेड्यूल तय था, लेकिन लगातार 5 बजे जब फिर से सेशन शुरू हुआ लोकसभा का तो ऐसे में लगातार हंगामा किया गया, और उसके बाद आज सुबह 11 बजे तक के लिए लोकसभा स्थगित कर दी गई थी। लेकिन आज भी फिलहाल वही स्थिति देखने को मिली, तो ऐसे में आज राज्यसभा में प्रधानमंत्री 5 बजे बोल सकते हैं।
जी मनोहर, धन्यवाद आपका जानकारी देने के लिए। एंड विद दैट व्यूअर्स, वी आर नाउ गोइंग टू मूव अहेड। वी आर आल्सो नाउ पिकिंग अप न्यूज़ from Jammu and Kashmir, where a counter-terrorism operation is continuing. We are now learning that the Indian Army is using helicopter to trace terrorists hiding inside Chatru area of Kishtwar. In fact, let me now go across to my colleague Ajay Jandal, who joins me to get us more details. Ajay, what's the latest that you're picking up? How is the army tackling the terrorists hiding there?
the operation continues there in the Chatru forest area of Kishtwar, as one terrorist was gunned down by the security forces, but Saifullah, who's another commander who was with Adil, who he basically managed to escape from that location, and helicopter have been pressed in by the security forces to ensure that Saifullah and other associates, they also has to be traced, and they has to be neutralized as well. What we have seen that for the last 2 days, there were 2 encounters and 3 terrorists was gunned down. But there are apprehension and there are reports of about 5 to 6 terrorists also were active, and that's why operation still continues over there in the Kishtwar area.
Ajay, do stay on with us. We're also picking up that counter-terror operation is continuing, and in fact, we're learning that the army is using helicopter to trace terrorist sighting there. But Newsx has also now accessed the photo of the dead body of Adil, the terrorist who was killed in the encounter in Kishtwar's Chatru area. Adil was carrying a ₹5 lakh reward on him, and Kishtwar police had issued this. The terrorist had been active in the district since 2024. Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Adil was taken down by our forces. He was carrying a report of ₹5 lakh by the Kishtwar police. Ajay continues to stay with us to give us more details. Ajay, do talk to us some of the nefarious activities that Adil was really involved with and the operations of Jaish that he helped carry out.
Yes, Adil basically with the Saifullah was continuously operating in this area of Kishtwar district and was continuously changing their location to save their life. But forces were there on the job, and today, when the security forces got this input about the presence of this group in that area, operation was launched, and one terrorist has been Adil have been gunned down. His picture can be seen, and one Saifullah and one more associate, they most likely they have slipped from that area, but where they will go, they will be traced in the coming days as well, because security forces, they are using the helicopters and other modern gadgets to ensure that they also has to be traced as soon as possible.
All right. Thanks very much for joining me and sharing those updates with our viewers. And we now proceed, viewers. The investigation into the tragic deaths of 3 minor sisters in Uttar Pradesh's Ghaziabad has revealed that the girls ran a social media account using Korean names and had built a considerable online following. Police say the sisters aged 12, 14 and 16 had created the account under the names Maria, Aliza and Cindy. The account had attracted a significant number of followers and was a major part of their online entity and identity. Investigators have found that around 10 days before the incident, the girl's father came to know about the account and deleted it, along with confiscating their mobile phones. Police believe the loss of their online presence and digital access left the sisters deeply distressed. Aditya Wadhwan joins me now from the location there. Aditya, thanks for joining us once again. Well, what more details are you picking up from the police investigation? Of course, there are different accounts that are coming to the fore, whether it's about their addiction to the online platforms was concerned, with their Korean identities that they had on digital media, and now there's also the angle of the debt of ₹2 crore that the father of the daughters had on him.
Well, absolutely, Kriti. Indeed, when we were talking to the neighbors, neighbors also told that, the father of the 3 sisters, he had his own work, but that was not going very well for the past quite some time. And, there was a regular quarrel that used to happen between the 3 sisters and the father. And, the 3 sisters were very obsessed about the Korean drama. And, this was one of the major pertinent reason why they wanted to get themselves admitted in a Korean school, and due to the a weak financial condition, the father couldn't afford that, and resultant of what we witnessed, a very, very painful incident, involving the 3 girls, which are Nishika and 2 other girls. So definitely, one by one they jumped from the balcony and at this juncture, for the neighbors also told that for the last since the COVID pandemic happened, for the last 2 to 3 years, they weren't also attending any school. So clearly their addiction had gone to a next level, and definitely they were so obsessed with their desire to study in a Korean school that they committed suicide. And we are just at the spot, and I would just this is where the building exactly, if you see from the 9th floor of this building, the 3 girls jumped downstairs, and clearly as you can see, we are showing you the live visuals of the building from where the girls jumped, and this was a spot where the 3 girls committed suicide, and you can see these spots marked. You can also see the dried up blood in a circle that has been made here. So clearly at this juncture, this was the very spot where these girls fell after committing suicide. And I would just request my video journalist to show you the visual of the other building from the 10th floor. One person named Arun Kumar, who witnessed the event, witnessed this suicide live. He saw this happened on the intervening night of February 3rd and February 4th, and from there, he witnessed, and immediately thereby he called the police and ambulance. Post the girls fell at this very spot where we showed. Kriti, back to you.
Aditya, what's glaring here is the lack of supervision, parental supervision on these girls. It's also, surprising that the girls had actually left going to school after pandemic. These are not some common instances or sightings that we have. So what really are you picking up from speaking to the neighbors there and from the other people in the area about the relationship of the girls with their father and parents?
Well, if you see, from a psychological point of view, Kriti, these 3 girls, the 3 sisters, were showing these withdrawal symptoms, post the COVID pandemic, because, it is very abnormal for a student to stop going school for about 2.5 and 3 years. So these were the withdrawal symptoms that these girls were showing, and completely at this juncture, the neighbors were also told that, that they had regular quarrels within their family, and so clearly it's a case of parental negligence which is coming to the fore, and 3 girls together taking such a decision of committing suicide, ending their lives. So clearly this points to the fact that there was no sort of counseling or psychotherapy sessions, that sort of sessions given to these girls. So completely it's a case of parental negligence that is coming to the light, and the Ghaziabad police is investigating the case as per some sections, and the preliminary investigation is going on, and it needs to be seen how things unfold from here. Yes, Kriti, back to you.
All right, Aditya, thanks for the details, but do continue to stay on with me. The father of the teenage girls has also spoken on the suicide. Viewers, listen in to his statement.
तो आपको क्या लगता है ये खुदकुशी का केस है, ओपन और शट केस है, अब इसमें जांच की कोई जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि जाने वाले तो चले गए?
देखिए ऐसा है, बस मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि बस हर कोई अपने बच्चे पे थोड़ा ध्यान दे। मेरी मिस्टेक ये थी कि मैंने थोड़ा कम ध्यान दिया, और ध्यान तो दिया मैंने, बस मैंने ये सोचा चलो बच्चे हैं कोई बात नहीं, थोड़ा बस, और मैं इससे ज्यादा क्या कहूँ। बाकी मेरा सब कुछ चला गया, मेरी लाइफ में कुछ नहीं बचा।
मौत की सजा फिर गेम को ही मानते हो?
एक लाइन में आप ये बता दीजिए, आपके तीनों बच्चों की मौत की वजह क्या है? क्या गेम है, या फिर आपका न देख पाना है, या फिर परवरिश में आपके कमी है?
मेरा कोई वो नहीं है, मेरा पूरा वो था, मैं बच्चों को पूरी केयर करता था। बस ये कि मैंने थोड़ा सा ये डिले करा कि उन्हें फोन प्रोवाइड कराया, और फोन के जरिए वो कोरियन से जुड़े, कोरियन पर्सनैलिटी में उतरे। कोरिया बंद होना चाहिए इंडिया में, बस कोरियन नाटक चले, ना कोरियन वीडियो चले, ना कोरियन चैनल चले। बस मैं हॉस्पिटल में गया था, डॉक्टर ने भी बताया कि मेरे केस के अलावा 7 केस और थे पिछले महीने के, जो बच्चों ने ऐसे सुसाइड करी है कोरिया ड्रामे के चक्कर में। 50 सिरे हॉस्पिटल है लोनी में, जो 50 बेड वाला, वहां पे मैं गया था। मुझे डॉक्टर ने कहा आपसे पहले 7 केस पिछले महीने के हैं कोरिया के, और वो लिख के भी बच्चे मेरे वही गए हैं कि लो छुड़ा लिया तुमने कोरिया। मेरे बच्चे सुसाइड नोट पे लिख के गए, लो तुमने पापा छुड़ा लिया कोरिया।
दूसरी बात ये है,
अब बताओ,
पुलिस इस चीज पर ध्यान नहीं देती, मीडिया इस चीज पर ध्यान नहीं देती, और फालतू बातों पर ध्यान देती है।
सर आप रहने वाले कहाँ के हो?
हाँ जी,
रहने वाले कहाँ के सर? अच्छा, ये जो पुलिस ने आपके ऊपर कर्जे और आपकी 2 शादियों की बात कही, क्या आपकी जाती जिंदगी का इस केस से कोई ताल्लुक है, कोई प्रभाव है?
कोई
हालांकि आपने
मेरे
कहा
पास आप थोड़ा खुद सोचिए, क्या वो बच्चे इतने समझदार थे, इतना सोच सकते थे कि हाँ हमारे डैड पे कर्जा है कुछ है तो हम ऐसे सुसाइड कर ले? या उनसे कोई कहेगा कि बेटा हाँ तुम्हारे पापा से हमने पैसे लेने, जाओ कूद जाओ? आप बताओ, थोड़ा सा आप सोचो।
सर आपकी गवर्नमेंट से क्या मांगे आप?
गवर्नमेंट से मेरी यही मांग है, कोरियन ड्रामा, कोरियन वीडियो, कोरियन चैनल सारे बंद किए जाए, कोरिया इंडिया में ना चले बस, ताकि मेरे बच्चे के अलावा कोई किसी का बच्चा एडिक्ट ना हो और सबकी जान बचे। मेरे तो 3 बच्चे चले गए।
And viewers, actor Sonu Sood has also issued a strong warning on children's exposure to online gaming and social media after the death of these minors in Ghaziabad. The girls were aged 12, 14 and 16. They died by suicide after jumping from a high-rise building, with police now linking the incident to severe online gaming addiction. Reacting to the tragedy, Sonu Sood has said unchecked screen exposure among minors is becoming a serious public health concern and called for firm restrictions on social media and online gaming for children below 16 except for educational use. He stressed that childhood requires guidance, care and emotional support rather than algorithm-driven digital engagement, urging parents to stay actively involved in their children's lives. Let's listen in to the actor's statement.
आज गाजियाबाद में 3 बच्चियों ने अपनी जान दे दी। ये बच्चियां हारी नहीं थी, अकेली पड़ गई थी। ऑनलाइन और सोशल मीडिया की दुनिया में हम अपने बच्चों को इतना आगे छोड़ आए हैं कि हमें उनकी चुप्पी सुनाई नहीं देती। कुछ समय पहले ही मैंने गुहार लगाई थी कि 16 साल से कम उम्र के जो बच्चे हैं उन्हें हमें ऑनलाइन और सोशल मीडिया की जो गेमिंग है और वो दुनिया है उससे बहुत दूर रखना है। लेकिन हम अपनी जिंदगी में इतने व्यस्त हो जाते हैं कि हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि हमारे परिवार के अंदर एक और ऐसा सदस्य है जो हमारा मोबाइल फोन, जो हमारी सोशल मीडिया है, जिनके साथ बच्चे हमसे ज्यादा समय बिताना चाहते हैं।
All right, let's go across to Aditya, my colleague who continues to remain at the location there in Ghaziabad where the 3 girls died by suicide. Aditya, now you're there in the area. If you've been able to speak to any of the neighbors there, what details are they telling you about the behavior of and the attributes of these girls, whether they led normal, jolly livelihoods or were there some patterns that were worrying about them?
Well, absolutely. Kriti, when we spoke with the neighbors, neighbors were also of the view that, quarrels regularly used to happen between the father and the 3 sisters, and definitely, for quite some time, his work was also not going very good. So, that was, there was continued some, some financial strain was there on the father, and definitely, things happened. So clearly at this juncture, there are several angles from which the Ghaziabad police is entirely investigate the entire case. How did the 3 sisters, took this extreme step of committing suicide. So clearly, at this juncture, as a preliminary investigation goes forward, many more chilling details will come to the fore. And at this juncture, when we went to the house, even his father was not completely opening even the door of the house. So completely, there are some issues regarding this family, and now the father is very, very hesitant to talk to anyone at this juncture. Kriti, back to you.
Right. Are the police also investigating any angle of foul play here as far as the relationship between them is concerned, the father and the daughters?
Well, absolutely. All the angles are being investigated. The Ghaziabad police is, as per the standard operating procedures for investigating the case. All from multiple angles, the police is investigating the case, and what comes. This needs to be seen. What chilling details as this investigation goes further. What is revealed, and so indeed, it is a matter of investigation, and it needs to be seen how things unfold in this scenario as far as this suicide incident is concerned.
Tragic indeed, but thanks Aditya for sharing those details, and we move on now, viewers, to news coming in as far as Maoism is concerned. Security forces have now recovered the bodies of a Maoist during an encounter operation in the southern region of Chhattisgarh's Bijapur district this morning. Officials said an AK-47 rifle was also recovered from the encounter site. The operation was launched after intelligence inputs indicated the presence of armed Maoists in the area, following which joint teams of security forces began a search operation. Intermittent firing between the security forces and Maoists has been continuing since around 7:30 this morning. Let's now go across to Deepak Vishwakarma, my colleague who joins us to get us more details here. Aditya, so Deepak, so far of course one Maoist has been taken down, but are there details of any more who may be working in cooperation with him?
देखिए, एक कमांडर था जिसके मारे जाने की सूचना है। 7:30 बजे जो हमारे जवान हैं वो जंगल के भीतर गए थे और 2 से 2.5 घंटे ये दोनों तरफ से फायरिंग हुई है। उसके बाद सूचना ये मिली कि एक जो नक्सली डीवीसी कमांडर था वो मारा गया है, जिसके पास से AK-47 भी बरामद हुई है। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो लगातार ऑपरेशन चलाए जा रहे हैं, इसमें भी DRG जो छत्तीसगढ़ के डिस्ट्रिक्ट रिजर्व गार्ड है वो, कोबरा बटालियन और CRPF, इन तीनों का जॉइंट ऑपरेशन था। और ये सुबह 5 बजे के आसपास जंगल में घुसे थे। 7:30 बजे एक लीड मिलती है कि 7:30 पे एक जो माओइस्ट है वो इंटरचेंज कर रहा है, जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट का इंटरचेंज कर रहा है। तो बीजापुर के जंगलों में उसको रेक्टिफाई किया गया। उसके बाद जब फायरिंग होती है दोनों तरफ से, उसके बाद उस माओइस्ट के मारे जाने की जानकारी निकल के आती है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि ये पहली बार नहीं है। अब जैसे जैसे डेडलाइन तय हो रही है, जैसे जैसे डेडलाइन आ रही है, क्योंकि समय बहुत नजदीक आ रहा है, वैसे वैसे माओवादियों के ऊपर ऑपरेशन लगातार बढ़ते चले जा रहे हैं, वैसे वैसे लगातार माओवादियों के मारे जाने की सूचना आ रही है। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि इसको लेकर जो जंगलों के भीतर मौजूदा स्थिति ये हो गई है कि जो हमारे जवान है वो एग्रेसिवली जंगलों के भीतर जा रहे हैं, उन जगहों पर जा रहे हैं जहाँ कभी एक्सेस नहीं था। और दूसरी तरफ से एक और ऑपरेशन चलाया जा रहा है, जो सरेंडर नक्सली हैं, उन सरेंडर नक्सलियों को लेकर गांवों के बीच में, जंगलों के बीच में, बीहड़ों में लेके जाया जा रहा है। और जो कभी नक्सल संगठन का हिस्सा थे उनको पहचानने की कोशिश हो रही है, क्योंकि जानकारी ये मिली है कि आज से पहले जो नक्सली थे जिन्होंने देखा कि हमारे साथी मारे गए हैं, वो उनको छोड़कर नॉर्मल जीवन जीने के लिए जंगलों के भीतर आ गए या गांव के भीतर आ गए।
दीपक बने रहिए हमारे साथ। There's some breaking details coming in, breaking news details coming in. Viewers, let's tell you, Home Minister Amit Shah now will visit Chhattisgarh on February 7. On the morning of February 8, he will chair a high-level meeting on Maoism in Raipur. Now, with just 2 months left to meet the target set by the Union Home Minister, the meeting is being seen as crucial. All right, let's go back to Deepak, my colleague, who continues to stay with us. Deepak, Home Minister Amit Shah will be chairing this meeting, and of course, he set this deadline that's just in 2 months to eradicate Maoism and the menace of Maoism from the country. And we're still seeing Maoists operating there in Chhattisgarh. So, how far are we really from meeting that target?
देखिए 44 डेज, तकरीबन टेंटेटिव 44 डेज के आसपास बचा है। जो टारगेट उन्होंने, जो लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया था कि नक्सलवाद छत्तीसगढ़ समेत पूरे देश से खत्म हो जाएगा, उसी दिशा में 7 तारीख को बस्तर जाएंगे। बस्तर जाने से पहले रायपुर में एक बड़ी बैठक बुलाई गई है, क्योंकि बस्तर पंडुम जो एक महोत्सव है उसमें वो शामिल हो रहे हैं। उसी बैठक में जितने भी नक्सल अफेक्टेड के डीजीज हैं, आज जितने भी उनके हायर अथॉरिटी के जो अधिकारी हैं, उन सबको बुलाया गया है, जिसमें डीजी हैं, स्टेट के डीजी हैं, वहाँ के जो होम सेक्रेटरी हैं वो हैं। इसके अलावा जितनी भी फोर्सेस डिप्लॉयमेंट हैं उन सबको बुलाया गया है। इसमें बात की जाए तो तेलंगाना, आंध्रा, उड़ीसा, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, महाराष्ट्र और इन सब के डीजी और जो होम सेक्रेटरी हैं उन सबको बुलाया गया। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है, इनके साथ बात करके अब जो फाइनल रणनीति है कि हमको किस तरीके से आगे बढ़ना है, क्योंकि अब जो स्थिति है वो करो या मरो की है। अब हमारे जवानों को और एग्रेसिवली जंगल के भीतर जाना है, और जो छुपे हुए हैं या जिन्होंने अपना
जी दीपक, फिलहाल जुड़ने के लिए धन्यवाद आपका। व्यूअर्स, सम मोर ब्रेकिंग डिटेल्स आर कमिंग इन. Now, a memorial made by Maoist for Central Committee member Ramanna in Gogunda was demolished by CRPF personnel. The assistant commander of the 74th Battalion has said that the Gogunda area was under Naxal control for a long time and remained cut off for security forces. He said the 74th Battalion established a forward operating base in the area on November 20, 2025. Meanwhile, efforts are underway to facilitate electricity and water supply, with the school building and helipad almost ready. He added that the memorial of Maoist Central Committee member Ramanna was demolished by the battalion in a joint operation. Let's in fact listen into that statement from the Assistant Commandant of the 74th Battalion.
आप सब विदित है कि ये जो इलाका गोलकुंडा पहाड़ ये काफ़ी दिनों से नक्सली का अंदर में कंट्रोल में था, लेकिन अभी ये सुरक्षा बल के लिए, पुलिस और प्रशासन के लिए यहाँ आने का काफ़ी मुश्किल था। एक कट ऑफ एरिया था, लेकिन पिछले साल 14 नवंबर जो हाँ चिल्ड्रंस डे था, उस दिन जो रास्ता सड़क इस गांव में गोलकुंडा मिचीपाड़ा गांव में पहुंचा था। उसके साथ 20 नवंबर को अपना 74 बटालियन FOB फॉरवर्ड ऑपरेटिंग बेस यहाँ से इस्टेब्लिश किया है। उसके साथ
And with that, viewers, we're now going to proceed to some more news. Now, normal traffic has been restored on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway after a prolonged jam that lasted over 33 hours, causing severe hardships to thousands of commuters there. The massive traffic disruption began on Tuesday evening after a gas tanker overturned in the Khandala Ghat section near the Adoshi tunnel, blocking the Mumbai-bound carriageway and forcing authorities to halt movement due to safety concerns. According to officials, the tanker carrying high inflammable propylene gas was emptied last Wednesday night and removed in the early hours of Thursday. During the standstill, commuters were stranded for hours, some for an entire day, without access to food, drinking water, or even toilets. Let's go across to my colleague Shahid Ansari, who joins us now to give us the latest in connection to this jam. Shahid, of course, it went on for about 33 hours. Some commuters was revealing the hardships that they faced: no food, no water, no toilets access. But what really was the reason that the jam started in the first place, and how fluid is the traffic movement now?
देखिए 30 घंटे 32 घंटे के जाम के बाद जब ये जाम खुला है, तो अभी भी हालात कुछ बहुत अच्छे नहीं हम कह सकते, क्योंकि हुआ ये था कि रात में जब ये जाम हुआ है तो बहुत सारे ड्राइवर, बहुत सारे लोग जो हैं वो उन्होंने अपनी जो बड़ी हैवी व्हीकल है जो उसको जो है साइड में लगाकर वो सो गए, क्योंकि उनको मालूम है कि बड़ा लंबा जाम है। इस वजह से लोगों को जो जैसा लगा वैसा उन्होंने सहूलत की। टैंकर जो गैस का पलटा था उसे जो है बाद में बुलाया गया, दूसरा टैंकर उसमें शिफ्ट किया गया और वो शिफ्ट करने में जो है कम से कम 25 से 30 घंटे जो है लग गए। तो इसकी वजह से जो इतना समय लगा, इसकी वजह से जो है मुंबई पुणे और पुणे मुंबई दोनों तरफ से जो है ट्रैफिक जो है 30 घंटे से ज्यादा तक जो है बाधित रही। अभी की बात करें तो अभी लोनावला से जो है मुंबई की तरफ जाने वाली ट्रैफिक खोल दी गई है और मुंबई से जो है पुणे की तरफ दोनों खोल दी गई है, लेकिन लोनावला से मुंबई जाने वाले रास्ते में जो है कहीं कहीं जाम देखने को मिल रहा है, क्योंकि वजह यह है कि जो हैवी व्हीकल है उनको अब निकलने का मौका मिला है, या वो जो किनारे खड़े थे तो एक साथ जब इतने व्हीकल निकले तो उसके लिए जो है ये दिक्कतें पेश आ रही हैं। और ट्रैफिक प्रशासन ने बताया है कि जल्द ही वो भी सही हो जाएगा, क्योंकि सारे लोग जो है उसको कोशिश ये कर रहे हैं कि फटाफट जो है ये हो जाए ताकि लोगों को दिक्कतें ना आए।
जी शाहिद, धन्यवाद आपका जानकारी देने के लिए। एंड विद दैट व्यूअर्स, लेट्स नाउ वंस अगेन proceed. Now in the latest updates coming in, Delhi Police Special Cell have arrested one Baljinder, an ambulance driver, and his associate Rohit, also known as Kirat, in connection with the incident of the pro-Khalistan slogans that were found written at 2 locations in Delhi before January 26. A close associate of 6 for Justice founder Gur Patwant Singh Pannu had hired the 2 accused to carry out the act. The entire plan was hatched in Canada, and Pannu had offered rupees 2 lakh for this task, as per the Delhi Police Special Cell. Alright, I am now joined by my colleague Javed Hussain to get us more details on this. Javed, how was Pannu really coordinating with these 2 people, and how were they able to carry out these graffiti writing just ahead of the Republic Day?
देखिए दिल्ली पुलिस की स्पेशल सेल ने 2 सिक्स फॉर जस्टिस जो टेरर मॉड्यूल से जुड़े हुए 2 लोगों को गिरफ्तार किया है और लाख रुपए दिया जाएगा। और 26 जनवरी से ठीक पहले दिल्ली में 2 लोकेशन पर खालिस्तान की कुछ लाइनें लिखकर जो है वहां पर माहौल खराब करने की कोशिश की गई थी। या यूं कहें कि एक मैसेज दिलवाना चाहा था जो आतंकी पन्नू है सिख फॉर जस्टिस का मुखिया है, और सिख फॉर जस्टिस के लिए लगातार जो है ये विदेश में बैठकर, कनाडा में बैठकर जो है ये भारत के खिलाफ देश विरोधी एक्टिविटी में लगातार शामिल है। दिल्ली पुलिस की स्पेशल सेल ने एक इनपुट पर इन दोनों को
All right, viewers, that was Javed, my colleague, sharing the details with us, and that was that. We're now going to move into a very quick commercial break. Stay tuned to Newsx.
MDH कसूरी मेथी लाजवाब है
स्वाद और सुगंध इसकी
लाजवाब है।
अगर MDH कसूरी मेथी नहीं डाला
तो खाली हाथ मलते रह जाओगे।
एक एक पत्ता हाथ से चुना, स्वाद और सुगंध जगाए कई गुना।
MDH।
कभी खेलों के मानचित्र पर उत्तर प्रदेश सिर्फ संभावनाओं का नाम था, पर 2017 के बाद संभावनाएं संरचना बनी। जनपदों में स्टेडियम, ब्लॉकों में मिनी स्टेडियम और गांव में मैदान। खेल अब शहरों तक सीमित नहीं रहे। लखनऊ से मेरठ, वाराणसी से ये है नया उत्तर प्रदेश।
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें ITV और इंडिया न्यूज न्यूज़ का मीडिया स्कूल। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का कोर्स आपको मौका देता है देश के दिग्गज एंकर्स के साथ काम करने का। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल में आप बेहद नजदीकी से देख पाएंगे किस तरह से ITV नेटवर्क के दिग्गज पत्रकारों की टीम दिन रात खबरों पर काम करती है। इस कोर्स के दौरान आप सीखेंगे एंकरिंग की एक एक बारीकी उन एंकर्स के साथ जो देश को रखते हैं हर खबर से बाखबर। ITV नेक्स्ट मीडिया इंटरनेशनल स्कूल का ये कोर्स आपके एंकरिंग स्किल्स को करेगा इतना सशक्त, मजबूत, जिससे आप बनेंगे पत्रकारिता की दुनिया का वो चमकता चेहरा जो दुनिया देखेगी और पसंद करेगी।
All right, welcome back. You're watching Newsx. My name is Vineet. Merely a day after Prime Minister Modi and US President Donald Trump announced the long-awaited trade deal between India and the United States, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held talks with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington, D.C. The two leaders held wide-ranging decisions as they commended the deal agreed upon by Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump. Featuring prominently in the discussion was bilateral cooperation on critical minerals exploration and mining, as the meeting came ahead of the critical minerals ministerial meeting that the US is hosting on the 4th of February. Other issues discussed was the India-US strategic partnership in trade, energy, nuclear, defense and technology. India and the US also agreed on early meetings of various mechanisms to advance shared interests. A big emphasis was on shared energy security goals and expansion of economic opportunities. The bilateral meeting was held amidst Mr. Jaishankar's three-day visit, official visit rather, to Washington, wherein he also held talks with US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, signaling huge impetus for bilateral ties between the two nations. We'll talk about this and more with some people who understand this. Ambassador Bhaspati Mukherjee, former diplomat, with us on the program. Major General Dr. Rajan Kochar, senior defense expert, with us on the show. Dr. Jayajit Bhattacharya, president of the CDPR, joins us on the show as well. Mr. Rabindra Sachdev, international affairs expert, is also with us on the program. And last but not the least, Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, will also be joining us on the show very soon. Ambassador Mukherjee, ma'am, I'll begin with you. Well, it's good. It's all well so far that this deal is being worked upon, it's being finalized. We're also learning that this is just the initial phase, which is still being ironed out. But like I've said before, and I'll say it again, that with Donald Trump, anything can happen. Nothing can be guaranteed, because unless a deal is put on paper and signed by both the parties, it will be very difficult at this point in time to figure out what actually the nitty-gritties are, what India needs to compromise on, and what the Americans will do if India puts a heavy stance again.
I think, Vineet, thanks to the India-EU FTA, Trump will sign the deal, because we have to thank Mr. Trump that because of him, we changed our approach to FTAs. We've concluded FTAs with UK, with Australia, the EU. We've made it very clear that if he wants to bully us and harass us in this manner, we will look for new markets, and we have a huge domestic market. We're 1.4 billion people, so nobody is going to be sailing down the Indian Ocean because Donald Trump decides to be nasty to India. On the other hand, what you rightly said about energy security and defense deals, these are very important for Trump and his administration. And it is also important for Trump to show that India is on his side in a strategic partnership, because he must be really alarmed by the gradual softening, perceptible and external softening of ties between India and China on one hand, and the clear messaging coming from the Kremlin that while they have no issues with a warm India-US bilateral partnership, they are not going to let go on the Russian-India friendship and partnership. They made it very clear, the Kremlin, and we have been diplomatically silent on the whole issue of Russian oil. The silence in diplomacy means only one thing. It means ambiguity. It means we are not going to comment on this matter. Let me see what Mr. Trump takes. And finally, as far as the strategic partnership is concerned, it is actually of vital importance to Mr. Trump that he comes for the Quad Summit, because if he doesn't come for the Quad Summit in the next few months, doesn't make a trip to India, the groupings that he doesn't like, where India plays a prominent role, and that includes BRICS and the SCO, will become more important, because he has already decimated the G20 by leaving South Africa out, the former chairman, refusing to invite South Africa for the G20 summit, which will be in the US, etc. In the process, he has decimated the global South, which plays a very important role in the G20. So his only hope is the Quad. And I'm sure, well, yesterday, in a similar debate, Uday says, I speak like an astrologer. So I told Uday I'm not an astrologer, but I'll stick my neck out and say that I am sure that over the next 4 to 5 months, Trump will make a bilateral visit, and we will have a Quad summit before the midterms. Before the midterms, because the Epstein files are causing waves, and more waves. Every day there is a new person who's fallen because of the Epstein files. It's only a matter of time before it gets to Trump's inner circle, in which case he will be damaged. So I think that I agree with you that he's temperamental and transactional, but I also think he's a very smart guy.
Okay.
On this one, he's not going to go back. No.
All right. Fair enough. General Kochhar, what do you think did it? What do you think cracked the deal? Is it the Epstein files? Is it the EU FTA? Is it India's, record trade with China in 2025? Is it a distraction, like Ambassador Mukherjee also said, from the Epstein files? I'm sure Donald Trump is going to be looking for bigger distractions to drive away people who are unhappy with him at home.
Thank you, Vineet. It's a very interesting question you have actually posed to me. I don't think it has got, Epstein files has got a big role to play, because 100% of those files are out now, and as per the Department of Justice, they have made it clear that everything is out in the open now, and nothing is left as far as the Epstein file is concerned. And wherever there was a mention of Trump, I think that has been managed by Trump, that it has not really actually come out. What worked so fast was, there are a couple of factors. The first is that Trump, if you remember, we're going to have the midterm elections soon. The primaries are there. And Trump is facing a lot of flack with regard to the way he has handled the anti-immigration by using his federal forces in Minnesota, Portland, and all these countries, states, California and all. And I think that agitation is going on. It's actually spreading in other states also. A second important aspect is Trump is stuck up on Iran, because now he realizes that launching an attack on Iran can be counterproductive. So he is now looking for an opportunity to move out without losing face. And the most important aspect is he is realizing that India is slipping away from the US hold, because the kind of tactics which he has used with India, coercion, has not really worked. To that extent, he wanted them to work. And Europe is actually going out. And most importantly, if you see the Gaza peace process, or the Gaza peace board, none of the G7 countries have joined, and nor have other members of the Security Council. So overall, if we see these things from a geopolitical perspective, I think mending fences with India was becoming very, very important. And that's how this deal has actually come about, because India is also doing an FTA with Canada. It has already done it with New Zealand and Great Britain. So he is finding that if he does not sort out things with India, things will become pretty bad for the Americans. And that is why this 18% deal. But he's not going to renege from this deal. He's not going to back out now, because I think it's a matter of days when this deal will get fructified. But what is important here is that the Indian markets have reacted favorably to this deal. Last 2 days I've been watching the stock market has been rising. A second important aspect is those manufacturers who were of gem jewelry, agriculture, pharmaceuticals, electronics, they have actually heaved a sigh of relief. And I think that's a good thing, because in the budget also certain exemptions on custom duty was done by the government to make their life a bit easier. And my last important point here is that we all would be awaiting the finer prints of this trade deal, because there is so much on WhatsApp. You can't actually believe what all is being spread on WhatsApp relating to the dairy and the agricultural, product, etc. So I think that would be a very vital point. Commerce Minister has made a statement that agriculture and dairy is not part of the deal. So let us see how it moves on. And most importantly, I think a message to Pakistan as well as to China that India is still enjoying a good relationship with the United States. And I would like to conclude my argument on the defense part of it, because I was slightly actually concerned on the defense cooperation, the jet engines and the other things which we have to get from the United States, the technology sharing and the various defense agreements India has made with the United States were getting impacted. Concasa, Limua, ISET and all other deals which we have made with them. So I am glad that from that point of view, we still have a partner in the United States who's going to support us, and I believe External Affairs Minister Jaishankar is has discussed this thing in joint ventures are, I think, what we are looking for with the US actually coming to India, because we don't want that
right.
kind
You're
of
absolutely right, General Gocha. You're absolutely right. I also have to, get in Dr. Bhattacharya into this conversation. He's been with us since this tug of war, we can call it that, Dr. Bhattacharya, or this standoff began between India and the United States. Who's going to blink first? We're still not sure who's going to blink first, but General Kochhar has a very valid point that apart from being partners in several areas, India is a big market for the Americans as well when it comes to defense procurement. They do not want to lose that, especially to France, considering the love that Donald Trump has for Macron.
So is that question to me?
Yes, yes, it is. It is for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So look, it doesn't really matter who blinked first, because India and US are natural allies. And it's important because, if you look at the size of the India-US trade economy, to put a perspective, it's more than half the total GDP of Pakistan, just the trade between US and India. So it's critical for India, let's not undermine that, and it's critical for the US. So it's extremely important that we got this back on track. And as I said, we are natural allies, and from the, as the General also mentioned, there are multiple defense agreements that we have also signed. So while this discussion on the trade deal was going on last year, we still went ahead and signed another defense deal in October. I'll not go to the details of it, but the relationship between the US administration and the Indian administration on the ground had not really become very better. It was, functional, it was important, and what has really happened is a nudge because of various geoeconomic actions that was happening has accelerated the process of the India-US deal, and hence, we could close it. Also, having said that, if things change, given what the track record of the current US administration has been, they might just walk out of the deal. It may not be in the best of their interest, but the track record is that anything signed on paper is also not worth the paper itself. But at least it's a movement forward. At least we get some semblance of rule-based engagements. And again, as the General mentioned, at least the markets are cheering.
You have a good point. You have a good point, Dr. Bhattacharya. If they can think of walking out of NATO, if they can think of walking out of WHO, then what is this FTA between India and the United States?
Absolutely. And therefore, we need to look at it the way it is. It is good for now. It has impacted the rupee. Rupee has become stronger. And also from an export perspective, India was able to surmount the loss of the US market when that happened last year, and we were still growing. The Indian exports were still growing. Now that the India-US trade deal has come back, and US is a huge export market for India, we can only go really accelerated up from here onwards. So it's a very good outcome for India specifically. For US also, given the dimensions of geopolitics, of strategy, of Quad, of supply chain resilience.
Right. Let me also bring in Mr. Sachdev into this conversation. We have a paucity of time. Mr. Sachdev, all right. All this is transactional. All this is really good that there is going to be trade. But what about the people-to-people connect that has been hurt by Donald Trump? What's going to happen to that?
Oh, the people-to-people connect, one big bucket will remain damaged. I mean, in terms of students going to the US, if we talk about people-to-people, I mean, all the policies, they're not working out. The tech professionals going to the US, that is also, in jeopardy. H1 renewals, if you come back to India, date is 1 year away. So multiple of those, but I'll just come back to the overall, and of course, everything has been covered. But my sense is, and I'm purely speculative, my sense is the trigger for this deal was, yes, India agreeing to reduce the purchase of Russian oil. That is my sense. Because you see the trade deal, the 25% of which it has come to 18 now, was topped by the 25 for the Russian oil, right? So, and there were several statements by Trump, not only statements, market data also, shows that we have reduced, okay, it may be, it's just a monthly shift kind of a thing. But we got to remember that Rosneft and Lukoil have been sanctioned, right? We are buying through maybe intermediaries or some such routes. So the cost is going up. There's friction in the trade happening already that we are seeing. Discounts are not as much. The decision for India was, I think, buying the Russian oil, we were saving, or we have saved, it said around $26 billion in the last 3 years by buying cheaper Russian oil. Or let's say the last 1 year, the number is something like $8 to $10 billion we saved. So that's the saving we're getting through Russian oil. Like here, our loss, if the 50% continue for 1 full year, okay, sure, we may have boosted some of our exports, but if this 50% stays for 1 full year, the loss of our exports noted and estimated by various is around 50% tariff means $50 billion export loss, if not 40, if not 35 billion dollar lost. Number of jobs lost. I think it came down to us for a cold economic sense. Okay, keep aside the geopolitical, geostrategic with Russia. So the trigger was this, and coupled with the fact that Trump and the remote viceroy Marco Rubio, they want to sell the Venezuelan oil, which is right now, they had a storage of it, right? Venezuela had produced around 50 million odd barrels during the blockade, which they were not able to sell due to the blockade, which now Americans are selling via 2 private trading firms, right? They've already sold one tranche, of which around $500 million has come in. Okay, of that $500 million, $200 million of hard, cold cash dollars have been given to the Venezuelan government.
The corporate America said that Venezuela is uninvestable.
I'm coming to that, sir. If you'll give me 30 seconds.
Quickly, please.
Okay, yeah, sure. So it's not the long term. They're looking at right now India buying some Venezuelan oil from those storage, these things, which allows them to pump in more hard cash into Venezuela. That is
why should we be buying Venezuelan oil? Why should we be compelled to buy oil that we don't need? All right, let me also rope in Sumit Peer into this conversation. Sumit, what do you make of this trade deal? And do you think buying Venezuelan oil and distancing ourselves from an ally such as Russia by not buying oil that suits us is worth the FTA?
Vineet, thank you very much for having me on your show, and thanks for the question. It's a wonderful question. Look, the potential of the FTA is $500 billion and going higher by the day. European FTA opened $10 trillion of market for us a year. And this is the kind of a similar market which it will open once the formal FTA is signed, which is work in progress. Now, right now, if you talk of the trade deal, you have saved a lot of money. But Vineet, the whole thing is that Trump is asking you to buy more of Venezuelan oil. But is Venezuela pumping so much of oil? It is not. Eventually, what is going to happen is he's just asking for a commitment. In the long run, you will buy more of Venezuelan oil from me. And before the sanctions were put on Venezuela, we were buying around 50% of the Venezuelan oil, and we have all the refining and all the capacity to sort it out. Now, what is going to happen? Look, Friday there's going to be a meeting in UAE between the trilateral between Americans, Ukrainians, and the Russians. Most probably something will come out in this and in near future, very near future now. Now, what happens the moment that has come in, all the sanctions on the Russia are over. So if the sanctions on Russia are over, there is no embargo, there is no Lukoil, there is no Rosanet, then they can't stop you in buying from, Russian oil. But where is the big deal? Because Trump knows ultimately Russian thing will be sorted out. So what he's asking you, when the things sort out, I can't put any embargoes on you, I can't put any tariffs on you because the war has stopped. That is where the whole drama is coming from. Now, do you have a commitment from me in the long run? You will buy a lot of Russian or a lot of Venezuelan oil. Whenever it is available, that is not you sacrifice Russian oil. So let me give you the statistics. We need last quarter, July, August, September, we bought 1.8 million barrels of oil per day, which is highest in a quarter. Then in December, we came to 1.4. Last October, November, December, 1.4. Then ended December with 1.2 million barrels. But if you look at the yearly average, we are doing 1.4 million barrels per year. Only in December we imported 1.2. That is where it stands because of Rosanet and Lukoil sanctions predominantly. What the then 15% fall in the Russian oil, 90% of that we bought from Americans and 10% we bought from UAE. The catch is very simple, sir. The number one supplier is Russia. The number two supplier is Iraq. The number three supplier is, if I'm not wrong, the number three supplier is UAE. Number fourth is Saudi Arabia. And number fifth, as on date, is United States of America. So the game is very simple. In the long run, when the Venezuelan oil is available, what does Trump want you to say? Trump wants you to do is cut on your Iraqi oil buy, cut on your Saudi oil buy, and start buying more oil from him. That is exactly what is he going to say, because he knows Russian war is not till perpetuity. Russian sanctions can't be till perpetuity, and this all game about putting sanctions on us was never about Russian oil. It was Mohammed bin Salman who wanted him to put these sanctions because he had promised Trump $1 trillion. So what was his problem? We need to look at 3 years before the war started. India, a net importer of oil. In last 3 years, what has Modi government done? We became a number 3rd player in the secondary market. Who was most impacted in this? I have been very clearly mentioning one thing, because if Saudi loses market share once, there is no way they are going to get that back, and Mohammed bin Salman also understands this. But his problem was not the primary market, his problem was the secondary market, where India became in top 3 players. That is where he was losing market. In order to safeguard that, he asked Trump, why don't you put sanctions on India and deter this process by a good extent? If it was about the Europeans, if it was about the Russian oil, why Europeans never put the sanctions on us? Why Europeans were buying oil from us? Why Europe was buying $15.1 billion of finished products from us? And why? There were no sanctions put on Turkey. Turkey is the 3rd biggest buyer. If you look at, they buy $3 to $10 billion of oil, finished products from Russia. Why then there were no sanctions put on them? Because you got the oil, you processed the oil, you started sending them to the secondary market. And by the way, Ukraine, where you were crying all the foul about, 18% of the Ukrainian diesel, the biggest supplier of Ukrainian diesel which was refined from Russian crude.
Okay, all right. Sumit, we've run out of time, but you've made absolute sense of the question that I asked you. Of course, this is not the end of this discussion. We're going to continue to talk about this until this is formalized, it's signed off, and some of the nitty-gritties of this agreement are made public. We'll take a short break on that note. Be right back.
जो भी पके ऐसा पके जहाँ भी हो जो खींचा चला आए पिसी दिल हो या पुलियो गिरे वांगी भात हो या पोड़ी मसाला रस पाउडर या सांभर मसाला असली मसाले सच सच MDH
Hello and welcome. You're watching Newsx and I'm Vaishali Kohli. Now, the 3 minor sisters who allegedly jumped to their deaths from a 9th floor flat in Ghaziabad on Wednesday left a diary with an 8-page note detailing their love for Korea and K-pop. The girls were reportedly in distress as they were unable to watch K-dramas. According to sources, the 3 sisters, Nishika, aged 16, Prachi, aged 14, and Pa Ki, aged 12, had created a social media account that gained a significant number of followers. They identified themselves with Korean names Maria, Eliza and Cindy. The police received information around 2:15 a.m. that 3 girls had jumped off the balcony of a 9th floor flat in a tower of Bharat City under the Tilamore police station limits in the Sahibabad area. Now, on reaching the spot, the police found that the girls had fallen to the ground floor and suffered fatal injuries. They were rushed by an ambulance to a hospital in Loni, where doctors declared them dead on arrival. So this, viewers, is an absolutely shocking story that Newsx has been getting you every detail about since yesterday. The fact, viewers, that there were a lot of factors that were involved as far as this suicide is concerned. There was a family situation that the young girls were grappling with at home. And other than that, of course, details that emerged also said that they'd stopped going to school. Now, this incident, this very tragic and shocking incident, has raised a lot of questions. It talks about the addiction to online gaming, the fact that children have so much access to these very dangerous games online is something which is very alarming. Rumi Mishra is joining me with more details. Rumi, over to you.
Vaishali, well, the 3 sisters identified as Nishika, Prachi and Paki, of course, killed themselves in a tragic case in Ghaziabad. We're also learning that they used aliases, Maria, Eliza and Cindy online as their fake names to run social media accounts. These social media accounts in particular, remember Vaishali, had a lot of followers and they kept posting pro-Korea content. The report states that the 3 girls had a huge fan following as well online. As per the initial investigation, the girls were heavily influenced by Korean culture and were spending most of their time playing Korean games or watching Korean videos. Their father, Chetan Kumar, reportedly confiscated their phones around 10 days ago and also deleted their social media accounts, following which Kumar was allegedly under a debt of 2 crore, which is also being probed as the cause of suicide. Over to you, Vaishali.
I also have Astha Aluvalia, who is a psychologist. She's joining me on the broadcast. You know, Astha, this incident has thrown up so many questions about the fact that how dangerous these online addictions are these days, and especially when children have easy access to mobile phones. But I also, because you are a psychologist, I want to understand the psychology of this. How do these sisters, these children, go into a sort of a fantasy land, into a delusion because of a game?
Thank you, Vaishali. As a psychologist, I want to clarify that gaming addiction is not necessarily the primary issue very often. It is often a visible expression of a deeper emotional distress such as anxiety, loneliness, depression, or even overwhelming pressures that the children have today from their environment. That added with the overexposure to cultures which seem very fascinating or which seem like an outlet away from where they are currently becomes very, very alluring. And when adolescents don't have the right emotional safety net around them, which questions their behavior, such